Welcome everybody, this is Alan with Daily Armour of God. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well. This is my Finishing the Bible with 1 year in 1 year project. We're on day 105, and we're still in 1 Kings. We'll be reading from 1 Kings 10 and 11. And as you can see, we're back at blueletterbible.org. And yeah, we were using the 1611 King James site and looking at the actual scanned pages. Let me know what you guys think of that, and if you guys like that, I can go back to doing that format. But I think for now I'm going to go back to this format because of a couple of reasons. Number one, it's easier on the eyes. Like, it's all right here. I love how when you highlight it, it's yellow, and I guess I'm used to it, and it's just everything's laid out here on the site very well. So that's what we're gonna do for today, Kings 10 and 11. So yeah, yesterday we were reading about how Solomon finished the temple. He dedicated the temple, made a prayer, they had a feast, and yeah, now it's like it says right here at the Queen of Sheba, so I'm guessing it has to do something with that. So let's get started. 1 Kings 10:1, and again we are using the King James version. I was thinking about trying CSB, but I don't know. I feel like you lose. I feel like you're missing out on something if you read from that. But I don't know. Maybe one of these days we'll try CSB. But for now, King James, and it's just the regular King James. It's not the 1611, so that sometimes trips me up. But hey, you know what? After reading the 1611 King James, and I come back to reading the normal King James, I feel like I'm a little bit smarter because it's just, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like reading the 1611. I have the 1611 Bible, the real Bible of 1611, and I feel like from reading it, it's becoming easier because I'm familiarizing myself with it, and I don't know, like with everything, practice makes better, right guys? So here we go, 10:1 in 1 Kings. And when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Jehovah, she came to prove him with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train. Why is train in this Bible? Okay, I'm not going to get into Bible changes right now, discussions, but maybe one of these days I'll make a video on that. But just know that there's some words that are being changed in the King James. As much as I like it and want to trust on it, I still think that it's being messed with. Anyway, she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her of all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. And when the Queen of Sheba had seen all of Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and their cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up to the house of Jehovah, there was no more spirit in her. And she said to the king, If it was a true report that I heard in mine own land of thy acts and of thy wisdom, howbeit I believed not the words until I came and my eyes seen it. And behold, the half was not told me, though thy wisdom and prosperity exceedeth the fame which I heard. Happy are thy men, happy are thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom. Blessed be Jehovah thy Elohim, which delighted in thee to set thee on the throne of Israel, because Jehovah loved Israel forever. Therefore made he thee king to do judgment and justice. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold and of spices, and a very great store and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these which the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. And the navy also of Hiram that brought gold from Ophir great plenty of almond trees and precious stones. And king made of the almond trees pillars for the house of Jehovah, and for the king's house harps, also psalteries for singers. There came no such almond trees, nor were seen unto this day. King Solomon gave unto the queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants. Now the weight of gold that came in Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. Beside that he had of the merchantmen and of the traffic of the spice merchants and all the kings of Arabia and the governors of the country. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to one target. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pound of gold went to one shield. And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best golds. The throne had 6 steps, and the top of the throne was round about, and there was stays on either side of the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. And 12 lions stood there on one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. And King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were pure gold. None were silver. It was nothing accounted in the days of Solomon. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with a navy of Huram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom. Yeah, it sounds like he was pretty rich and wise. Like, I hate to say it, but I think something's going to go wrong. I mean, this is like peak. This is like peak. Peace, prosperity. I mean, how could it go wrong? What's going to happen that it's going to go wrong? I don't understand how people can't just be content and, you know, worshiping Elohim and God and, you know, I don't see how it's going to go wrong, but I guess we're going to find out. And the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart. Elohim, I mean. And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and garments, and armor, and spices, horses and mules, at rate year by year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the cities for chariots, and with the king at Jerusalem. And the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made he to be as the sycamore trees that are in the vale, for abundance. And Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt, and linen yarn, and the king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price. And a chariot came up and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And so for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria did they bring them out of their means. Wait, so a chariot cost 600 shekels and a horse cost 150? What? Give me a horse then. I'll take a horse over a chariot. Of course, you have to feed it and care for it and, you know, everything like that. But still, give me a horse for 150. All right, that was chapter 10. Chapter 11 is right here. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, guys! Why? Why? I knew things were gonna get bad because I obviously know. I know a little bit of the story of Daniel and all that, but you know, from all the different stories from when I was a kid, church stories and whatnot. So I knew something was gonna go wrong because, you know. But so come on, it was peak prosperity, peak abundance, peak wealth. Why would he not trust him? I don't understand. I mean, actually I do understand because, you know, I'm not perfect, and I've turned my back several times to God. But in this case, Solomon had so much. He had like immense wealth and power and everything he could ever dream of and want. That doesn't make sense to me. Alright, anyway, Kings 11. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittite. Anyway, all these are the ites that they were supposed to kill that Israel didn't kill. That's probably how it goes wrong. All these ites, and they worship all these strange gods. Yeah, lowercase g. Okay. Of the nations concerning which Jehovah said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you, for they will surely turn away your heart after their gods. Yep, I knew it. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 7... What? What? Is that right? Is that a right translation? Hang on, I'm gonna check my Bible here. That can't be right. First King, chapter 11:3, and he has 700 wives. Wow, I wasn't reading that wrong. 700. What? 700? That's like more than double the amount if you were to have one wife for each day of the year. Just think about that for a second. Like, let's just put aside the 700, which is insane, but think about 365. A full year having one wife per day. A different wife every day of the year. That is nuts. That is nuts. That's crazy. And 700 princes at 300 concubines. 1,000 women. Does it say that here? 300 concubines. Oh my goodness, that is insane. Lucky. No, I'm just kidding. Here I can't even get one person. Okay. And his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives... Wait, what? When Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. Oh, there we go. That's how. Other gods. And his heart was not perfect with Jehovah his Elohim, as was the heart of David his father. Oh, great. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Jehovah, and went not fully after Jehovah, as did David his father. Why, Solomon, you had everything. You had everything. You had 1,000, women. You had a great city. You had peace. You had great army, great wealth, great wisdom. Why? Anyway. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. Crazy. And Jehovah was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned away from Jehovah Elohim of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. Like, that's another thing. Like, not only did he have all this great stuff, but God, Elohim, appeared, excuse me, sorry, I hit my mic, appeared to him. Appeared to him. He was extremely blessed and lucky, and he did this. And he had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which Jehovah commanded. Wherefore Jehovah said unto Solomon, Forasmuch as this done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake which I have chosen. Uh-oh. And Jehovah stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain of the host was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom. That Hadad fled, and certain Edomites of his father's servant with him to go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child. And they rose out of Midian, and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran. And they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, which gave him a house, and appointed him victuals, and gave him land. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Tahpenes the queen. And the sister of Tahpenes bare him Genubath, his son, who Tahpenes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, "Let me depart, that I may go to mine own country." Then Pharaoh said to him, "But what hast thou lacked with me, that, behold, thou seekest to go to thine own country?" And he answered, saying, "Nothing. Howbeit, let me go in any wise." And God stirred him up another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eliadah, which fled from his lord Hadadezer, the king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a band, when David slew them of Zobah. And they went to Damascus, and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did, and he abhorred Israel, and reigned over Syria. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite of Zeradah, Solomon's servant, whose mother name was Zerah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo, and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor, and Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Israel, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, "Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Jehovah, the Elohim of Israel, Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Ashtaroth, the goddess of Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of Moabs, Milcom, the god of children of Ammon, and have not walked in mine ways, to do that which is right in mine eyes, and keep my statutes and my judgments, as David his father. Howbeit I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I choose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and I will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. And unto his son I will give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a light away always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all thy soul desireth, and shalt be king over Israel. And if it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and wilt walk my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, and build as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. And I will for this affect the seed of David, but not forever. Solomon sought there to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt, unto Shishak, the king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. Why? Are you serious? They're just going to go straight into the death of Solomon, even though I barely even know anything about Solomon besides, he was wealthy and wise and sinned against God. That's all I know. I thought they were going to go into more detail about his character and stuff, but okay, anyway. And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did in his wisdom, are they not written in the book Acts of Solomon? Acts of Solomon? What are the Acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. Wait, Rehoboam was his son? Rehoboam, but what about this Jeroboam? What was that? Anyway, Rehoboam is now king, I guess. Okay, guys, that's going to be it. Let's just do the daily promise. The Lord hath appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Jeremiah 31:3. And the reflection, and I quote, my prayer. Thank you so much, Lord, for loving me with an everlasting love. Teach me to love others the way you love me. End quote. And amen to that, guys. We need to be more loving. We need the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. It's love being the greatest. Even Jesus Christ himself said that love is the greatest of these. So, I love you guys, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Hope you guys stay well, put God first. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care, God bless. See you guys next time. Shalom.